Okay, so today we're learning how to start our radial design, and we start that by folding our paper. And the folding of the paper is important because it needs to be accurate so that your paper folding ends up symmetrical. And you should end up with 8 symmetrical triangles all meeting at one center point, the radius point, in the middle when you're done. So if I'm standing here at this point of the table, I'm looking at my paper in a portrait side versus the landscape side. So just make sure you're holding your paper in a portrait view. Okay, then I'm going to take my top right corner up here and I'm going to begin folding my paper over, but I'm not going to do any kind of creasing or pushing down on this side yet because it is extremely important to make sure that I have a perfect point up here first so that these sides are matched up and lining up, and I end up with a perfect point. Okay. Once I have the point, then I'm going to line up the edges of the paper to make sure they're lined up, and I'll show you what it looks like if you're thinking this is lined up. That's incorrect. So right there, you want to make sure that you have both sides lining up together, and then you're going to carefully crease on the side. And you want to do it carefully and slowly because this is newsprint paper, so it does rip easily, and it'll create a bubble as you're folding. So I have my first fold done. It should look like this. Then I'm going to take, for my second fold, the point that I just made. I'm going to cross it over, and I'm going to be making the shape of a house. And before I do any folding and creasing again, I'm going to make sure these are all lined up, the points lined up, the sides edges are lined up, and then I'm going to go ahead and make that crease so that everything's lining up, matched up, everything's right on, and I should have the shape of a house when I'm done with fold 2. Fold 3, I'm going to take the roof of the house and fold it over the place you live in. And I'm not just going to fold it over, but I'm also going to push it back a little bit so that I get a point on the left and I get a point on the right. And this can be a tricky fold if you don't have an extra person standing there with you. So if you need help, ask somebody at your table, or I'll be circulating around to help as well. So this will look like an oversized envelope, or you turn it around and it's a Peter Pan hat. So I've got my points lined up. My very last fold that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Peter Pan hat and I'm going to fold it in half, either this way or this way. It doesn't matter, it's the same exact line that I get. The most important thing is that I'm going to treat this as a pyramid, and I want to split my pyramid exactly in half at the point. So I'm going to look at the point here, and I'm going to make sure that I am folding that so that that line goes straight up to the point of the pyramid and cuts the pyramid exactly in half. So I'm going to line up the point, then match up my sides, and I'm going to crease down here. When I open it up, I should see a fold line, and it should go straight from the center straight up to that point in the pyramid, so I know I have an accurate fold. Then I should be able to unfold it, and I should have one radius point in the center where all 8 triangles are meeting at that point. If it doesn't look like a point, that's when you're going to stop and raise your hand and wait to ask. If yours looks like a point, like this one does, and everything looks good off to the sides, everything matches up, then you can move on to the next step instead of stopping to raise your hand and wait. That's it.